This shouldn't take long. So everyone, eyes up here, whether you're done or not, just kind of look, because these are pitfalls you might come across later. So everyone just kind of take a glance up here. Before you turn it in, after you've checked the rubric, okay, I got everything, there's some things that we do when we're editing and we kind of neglect, okay? And there's one thing I haven't shown you that I won't be too concerned about this time, but I want you to kind of keep in mind for future ones. And especially when we get to like the commercial, you're going to be aware of this other thing called safe zones. But we'll talk briefly about it for a second today. So a couple of things. You need to check a few things on your sequence before you export. So if I had a color layer here, right, and I told you just to kind of stretch it out, you might have not stretched it out completely, or somewhere in your editing process today, you might have looked. So everyone look up here. So right now I have my blue, my like little teal and orange filter on there, but then I didn't stretch it out completely. So look what happens. Oh, come on. Oh, there you go. Right? So double check that. You see how it just changed from back to its normal color, back to, right? So double check that your adjustment layer covers all of your shots, okay? Your adjustment layer might also affect your credits, right? So you want to make sure that if you don't like make sure that your credits look good. If you don't like the way the adjustment layer pulled on it, either shorten the adjustment layer or put the credits over the adjustment layer, and that way they won't be affected by it. Okay, so it got muted a little bit. I don't know if you guys noticed. By putting it down here, right? It affected it just a little bit, not too much. It took out a little bit of the warm tone of the credit. So either make sure that your adjustment layer isn't covering it or pull your text above it. Like my opening text, I can pull it above it. That way the text is not affected by the adjustment layer. Okay. That's one thing to look out for. Your adjustment layers, make sure it doesn't switch colors. Number two, some of you faded out the song. Like if you look right here, right? The song faded out, but you forgot. And so you're like, my movie's over, right? My movie's over. Fades out to 0, it's a blank screen. However, you left your song untouched. If you leave it like this, it's going to export out this extra minute of blank space, right? So I'm not going to grade you down for it. It just looks sloppy. And then when you upload it to YouTube, you got this extra blank space at the end, which you might want to put buttons and stuff on there. But go ahead and just trim that down by grabbing the edge and pulling it in, or using your blade tool and cutting it, and then going back to your arrow tool and deleting it. Okay, so just make sure your song ends when it ends, right? Don't leave this like extra long blank space. Otherwise, it's going to get rendered out. The last thing is, before you hit render out, make sure that you don't have an in and out point on your credits. If you have an in and out point, it's going to render or export just that portion of your movie. And I always get this. Someone always does this. They either do one of two things. They export out and they have an in and out point, so they only get a fraction of their movie, right? Or they don't check that the sequence is highlighted in blue, and they export out just one clip, right? They export out this because this is what's highlighted in blue. So to get rid of your in and out point, just right click and choose clear in and out. That'll get rid of it. And that's all you really need to do. I won't talk about the texting. I'll talk about the texting later. I want to get you guys going. Then, with your sequence highlighted in blue, you're going to go, here's how to turn it in. File, export, media. So that's right up here. That's what I mean when I write this thing right here. File, export, media. The only thing you really should change are two things. The format, H.264, and then the name, and make sure you send it to your desktop so you can easily find it. Right? So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go File, Export, Media. The hotkey is Command M for media. And then it also gives you a nice little, I can kind of scan through it and make sure that it's the actual clip. Everything's looking good. I'm going to click over here. Oh, sorry, format. If you haven't changed the format to H.264, change it. If you don't, it's just going to be a much larger file. Like if you leave it on QuickTime or DV or something else like that, it's going to be like 5 gigabytes rather than like 0.5 gigabytes. And then output name, go ahead and just click on the blue. Make sure you're at your desktop. And you're going to call it 1_silent short_, and please put your last name. I could probably figure it out by the credits, but this will help. And all that stuff will be right up here when I'm done. And then lastly, you're going to hit export. Some of you accidentally hit Q. That's the media encoder. Go ahead and hit export. When it's done, I'm really sorry. We'll fix this soon. It defaults to open up a program that can't read the file. It's really dumb. It's my fault when I was setting these computers up over the summer. Why aren't you exporting? There you go. So what's going to happen is when it's finally done, if you double click on it, it's going to say like Ryko Theta can't open the blah, blah, blah. What you're going to either want to do is either press spacebar to check it or choose open with and choose QuickTime. Right now, on your computers, Ryko Theta wants to open it. I'll show you how to change that later when we're all kind of calmer and not having to rush to finish these. And then you're going to drag this into the submit folder. Don't drag, right now my movie's not done, okay? So it's still exporting. You might think, oh, my movie's done, it's right here. It's not. It's still kind of processing. It's putting the files together. You'll notice there's 2 files right here. It's kind of stitching everything together. It's weaving the song into the thing and making it so that it's a complete. So while that's still exporting, I can go to the server. So I can go either find my alias right here. If you didn't make an alias, I will come and show you where to find it. You can also find it in any folder window called MAI3 server. Go to i3 classes, and you're going to drop it off in film submit. Film submit. Still not done. Almost done. There you go. There it is. You know it's done when you see a thumbnail. I like to hit the spacebar, double check. Spacebar is a way to like doing a quick preview. It's looking good. It's all there. Yay. Take it in, drop it into the submit folder. Boom. Now remember, you can't see it, but I can. It's going to prompt you to say like, cannot see the results of your actions. You just say okay. And with that, you got about 8 minutes left of class. You're never done. You're just out of time. If you feel like you've got the requirements on the rubric, I encourage you to get it in. On Monday, we're going to go with the dialogue scenes. We're going to learn about dialogue editing, which gets different.